Righto, tell you there, champs. Now this thing here is the Razer Blade Advance, and I'll give you the tip here. This thing goes hard because I'll tell you the specs in a sec, but they're pretty beefy, the specs in this one. And the Razer Blade laptops have been, you know, up there in the thin and light premium gaming laptops. They had some shortcomings here and there that, you know, maybe they weren't the top of the class, but this thing here, they've nailed it. This one here is like an evolution. It's nailed, and pretty much it does everything you want, and it ticks every box now, and there's nothing really bad about it. Now this is a thin and light premium sort of gaming laptop, and it doesn't have to be for gaming. You can use it for content creation. They have that Made by Blade campaign as well, so these will be good for content creation as well. They're at the more pricier end of the market, right? They're premium, you paid a premium. I'll leave the latest prices in the description, but the first thing I noticed when I grabbed this laptop out of the box was how thin it is. I mean, it really is razor thin, to pardon the pun. Yeah, it's thin. It felt thin as soon as I took it out of the box, and it's like a, what, 17 millimeters, or that's like 0.7 of an inch or something like that. Yeah, it feels thin, and I think that's the first thing you're going to notice. You're also going to notice how premium it is. Now, you know, they do have a Mercury version. If you get the studio version, they actually have a quartz pink one as well. So yeah, if you like that thing, you can get a quartz pink one as well. Limited edition, I believe. But yeah, CNC machine, aluminium, premium. I really wish I had that sort of Mercury white one. I'd love that. Black's not my thing, but it is this matte black. You do get fingerprints, but yeah, it is premium. There's no doubt. It is high quality premium sort of laptop. And it does come in at about 2.1 kilos, starts at 2.1 kilos, and what is it, 4.6 pounds it starts at. So that's what you'd expect in this segment. But I do notice one thing, it definitely is thinner than a lot of the sort of premium laptops in this segment. For the ports, awesome. Thunderbolt 3 on that side, USB Type-C on this side. You get a load of USB Type-A's. You get Ethernet, so that's Thunderbolt 3, 20 volt, USB Type-C, so you can actually charge through the Thunderbolt if you want as well. SD card reader, UHS 3, and the USB Type-A's are USB 3.2 Gen 2s and a HDMI 2.0B. So you get a tick there. So far, 2 ticks, right? Premium quality, all the ports, weight and thickness, all that is good. Now the sound on this thing, I mean, have a load of this. Look at this. I got this like to measure and look. The sound, the magnet, this isn't like, you can't use a pen or whatever, but the magnets are so strong in that speaker that yeah, they actually, you know, you could hook a pen up there. But the speakers are actually quite good, and I'll get to it later, but it's not that loud compared to other gaming laptops, so you know, speakers make sense on this. With gaming, you're probably going to use a headset anyway. Keyboard and trackpad, wow, this thing, I can video edit with this trackpad, okay? So I really do like this trackpad. It is like one of the best, like seriously, top drawer with that trackpad. The keyboard, it is a bit shallow. The RGB on it is awesome. It is not full size. I like that. I don't like my number pads. I like that it's, you know, the ergonomics are good because the trackpad's in the middle. You know, you got the compact keyboard. I like that. And the keys are shallow, so maybe you want to try them. But I have no problems typing with them, etc. So yeah, I like the keyboard, it is good. So with the display, we have a 300 Hz 15.6 inch full HD display. For gaming, this thing is amazing, like really is. I mean, this has an RTX 2080, we'll get to that in a sec. So there are games like, you know, Counter-Strike or Overwatch or something like that, you can get the frames up there and take advantage of this display. Now it's around the sort of 270 nit mark for brightness, and that's pretty good considering it's 300 Hz, because the higher the refresh rate, usually the brightness goes down. So it's really good that they kept the brightness up to about 270 nits, where usually once you get up to, you know, 300 Hz, you start going to 250 nits, 220, something like that. So they've done a good job there with the brightness. Color gamut is just pretty much 100% sRGB. It's color accurate, so you could do color work on this. You can get the studio version with the 4K OLED, etc. So if you want to do, you know, video editing, stuff like that, maybe that one's better, but still, this is still good enough to do, like, you know, video editing, photography and stuff like that. But when you game on this and you got the frame rates up there, super connected feeling here, it is really good response time. It just feels nice, buttery smooth, and the display is awesome for gaming. And just looking at it with the naked eye, when I first looked at it, I go, wow, that's a really good quality display. And it is, yeah, it's a good display. Battery life, now the battery is an 80 watt hour battery. around 7 hours battery life. That was one of the things with the previous generation Razer blades, that it had okay battery life, but you know, it was like 5 hours, maybe 6. Now this thing is getting around 7 hours battery life with that 80 watt hour battery. So now this puts this in the category of, you know, say XPS 15s, MacBook Pros, you know, your content creation sort of laptops. It is very good for a gaming laptop to have that sort of battery life, and that was changing it to 60 Hertz, of course. Happy with the battery life with this. Now, with performance, when it comes to performance, this was recorded with Shadow Play. Of course, the display is awesome. I've already talked about the display, but this one has the 10750H, so that's the 8-core processor. We also have a RTX 2080 Super. That is max Q, 90 watts, but wow, the performance on this is amazing. It's like right up there. You can turn off Optimus and get more performance. And as you'll see here in Battlefield, what you'll see there, look at the clock, it just dipped to 3.8. That's as bad as it gets. All right, it gets into the 90s, which, you know, is not unusual, but you don't see that clock drop down to 3 gigahertz or anything like that, or 2.8 or whatever. It stays up there in the high 3s and the like low 4 gigahertz. So 4.3 it went up to before, and the temperatures are ranging from, you know, the high 80s to mid 90s. So gaming performance is really good on this. Actually, when I compared it to other laptops, it was right up there, and in some benchmarks it was like leading, especially when I compared it to thin and lights, you know, ones with 90 watts GPUs. But you can see there, Battlefield maintaining, you know, pretty much 4 gigahertz most of the time and staying at that 90 sort of degrees, and it's only like 50 decibels, 51, 52 max. So that's XPS 15 MacBook Pro sort of decibels. Compared to gaming laptops, this is much better than other gaming laptops when it comes to how noisy it is. So like if you isolate the CPU, I got like a Cinebench of like 3200. It doesn't, you know, score that great, but it weights things more towards the GPU, and as an overall package, it's pretty good. And we sort of know what these parts perform like anyway, but still, look, 3 gigahertz there, 3.6, that's the lowest I've ever seen. That's it, out of all this time, lowest, 3.6, and it just went boom, straight back up to 4 gigahertz straight away. And what do we got? 90 frames per second, that's high settings. Battlefield. So yeah, now inside this unit you can actually upgrade the RAM. It comes with 16 gigabytes of 2933 megahertz RAM, and this one has a terabyte SSD as well, and the SSD is like 3000 writes, around 2.8 reads. So yeah, it all checks out there. You can upgrade the RAM, you can upgrade one M.2 in there, that's all it's got. And if you want to upgrade the Windows Home to Windows Pro, well, look in my description. You can get a link there. You can get Office really cheap as well. Just use my code. I got to say, they've nailed it, okay? It's not going to be the CPU king in terms of CPU benchmarks, but as an overall package, the way it's balanced for gaming, it was like nearly top of the charts or right up there in terms of thin lights. Excellent for video editing, stuff like that. You know, does everything you throw at it. RTX 2080 Super, it doesn't get much better than that. And now I can say without a doubt, with this Razer Blade Advance, everything checks out. You got your good premium build. You've got a great display, you've got a good keyboard, good trackpad, you've got good battery life now, and you've got the good performance. So check, check, check. Everything's good. And overall for me, it's not that loud compared to other gaming laptops. So that is ace, and it doesn't get hot anywhere or anything like that. The skin temperature's fine. So this thing here is really good now. Like, there's nothing really to complain about. You can nitpick here and there, like maybe I want to pump a few more watts into that CPU, and maybe CPU and GPU together we could sustain a bit more. And I mean, here's the 230 watt power brick. It's not that big, I guess, for a power brick. It's not that heavy. So yeah, good performance, good balance here. It's a great gaming laptop. You can use it for content creation, etc. And I highly recommend this one now. So anyway, catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.